And hi, everyone. Welcome to Inside the Game with Cece and the Zoles. Charlie Cornacchio, Rick Zolzer here, talking sports. And this week we have plenty to discuss, plenty to review, and plenty to recap. We're going to break out the show into 4 quarters and an overtime. And today we'll be discussing the Super Bowl. But before we get to that, last week's show was our debut. Did you get any feedback?
It's really weird. First of all, it's amazing how many people say they saw it because it's the first episode. And it's not like we have a multi-million-dollar budget to promote the fact that we have this stupid little thing on. But people said, dude, did you know you're on TV? You're not on the radio, you're on TV. I'm like, yeah, why? I had a nice clean shirt on. He goes, dude, when was the last time you shaved? I'm like, what? So I go back and I look at the thing. I'm like, yeah, I kind of look like Grizzly Adams. So the bottom line for me this week is, look, I shaved. I made sure I shaved like literally an hour ago with the 2-hour delay. But now there's this. I'm going to the clinic right after this, that 24-hour thing that's on Route 9. Right. And I'm going to have them look at the fact that I have a rock in my eye here. Get nice and close. You see that red dot? I know everybody's going to talk about it. They're going to make fun of me, so I'm getting it out of the way now. Yes, I got a red dot in my eye. No one hit me in the face with a 2x4. I didn't walk into a door in a drunken stupor. I got a big red whatever in my eye, and I'm hoping those people on Route 9 can tell me what it is.
Yeah, well, I might be right behind you because I got something going on.
Well, he walks in, I said, man, I sound like Darth Vader sitting next to me.
You'll never find.
Oh, Lou Rawls.
Yeah, right. All right, well, anyway, hey, we've got plenty to discuss between the Super Bowl, the commercials, Lady Gaga, the power of social media as well, and so many other things. So let's get right to it. Let's start with game notes from Super Bowl 51.
Listen, it's the earliest I've ever seen. Whenever I watch any sporting events, I track them on Facebook. It's like, to me, it's the new sports bar. Yeah. I got out of being the bars because as a severe non-smoker, I couldn't take it. And even though they don't smoke in bars anymore, I never got in the habit of going back because I'm frankly old and I'm married with children. So I don't do that. So you can talk and you can go back and forth on Facebook. And I had over 1,500 responses to my massive postings the other night. And in the second quarter, when they went up 21-3, I said, start the bus. Apparently, it should have been the Falcon bus and not the Patriot bus because, oh my God, who knew? It's literally, it was a tale of two halves. Yeah. And it seemed like the momentum shifter was Lady Gaga. She goes off, the Patriots wake up, and we have the most exciting second half in Super Bowl history. Yeah. The Patriots in the first half looked like those guys in Chariots of Fire running on the beach and not getting anywhere really fast. They were out of sync. They were always a step behind. I mean, they looked terrible. And the Falcons seemed to take the game plan from the Giants, the 2 times the Giants beat the Patriots. It's make Brady uncomfortable. Spend your afternoon in his lap and you can win.
But they've been doing that throughout the playoffs.
Understood, but if you replicate it against the Patriots more than anybody, for whatever reason, since it doesn't happen often, right, Brady gets rattled. Right. So he plays terrible in the first half. Everybody's doo-doo. He even has a pick 6. Yeah. They come out in the second half. The Falcons score first again, and then it was ridiculous. 25 straight points. They send the game into overtime, and then they win it on the first drive. Now, I was pulling for the Patriots for one reason only, because I wanted to see that awkward gesture between the commissioner and him, the handshake, and Robert Kraft. And then honestly, I've said it on the radio many times in his tenure. I don't think there's a bigger buffoon in Commissioner Hood, more so than Roger Goodell. I think he is the worst ever, unless you're an owner. He makes the owners bucket loads of money, so they don't care how stupid he looks. They don't care how he tarnishes the shield with his dumb decisions. They just send him out there to make him more money. I've never heard anybody get booed that badly. Yeah. There's usually a smattering of boos, whatever. Dude, he got hammered, and it wasn't just the Patriot fans. He got eviscerated, and my man just kept trying to talk over the boos. I give him credit. He went straight through, and it was like he went la 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 in his head, and he got shredded. They had that really weird handshake off stage, which they caught on camera. That's why I was rooting for the Patriots. I just wanted to see that moment. But I'll tell you what, specific moments in the game. Refereeing, I think there was only one really bad call, but it didn't have an outcome on the gun. Remember the extra point where the guy jumped over the center and they said that it was a penalty, but the guy in the booth who was a lifelong NFL receiver said, no, that was not a, and I'm screaming at the time, he did that perfect timing. So that was the only bad call I saw. Of course, the Falcon fans were all bitching on Facebook about their perceived non-holding holding calls and the defensive back. But the truth of the matter is, it's hard to complete a pass when every defensive back is holding every receiver.
That was incredible. That possession where there was like 3 or 4 holds.
It was obvious.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then they were making a noise about that pass interference down by the goal line. It was pass interference. Come on, man. The referees did a great job because you really didn't notice them. They didn't do anything stupid. Yeah. But then you had the catch by Julio Jones with the cornerback in front and the safety over the top, and Matt Ryan threaded it in there. The most amazing catch I'd ever seen until the next drive. And then Edelman made the Patriot fans forget about David Tyree. How ridiculous is that?
Great camera work to be able to show that at different angles. I mean, that ball was like this close to hit.
And then he cradled it with his hand before it actually hit the ground. Yeah. An amazing catch, kept the drive alive. They scored the touchdown. They got 2 2-point conversions when they needed it the most. Mm-hmm. And here, I'm going to say this. I think the overtime rules suck. Even though the team that I wanted to win won, because if they didn't, then people say, you just say that because your team lost.
I know where you're going.
Each team should get the ball.
I agree with you.
Especially if you're talking the Super Bowl. I don't care if you don't change it for a regulation game.
It was almost won by a coin toss.
No, not almost. It was. Yeah. Momentum was on the Patriots side. They won the coin toss. They drive down the field and they score and the game's over. Right. The Falcons got ripped off. The overtime rule sucks. Each team should get a possession. If both teams get a field goal on their first possession, you kick it off again, they get 2 more possessions until they break the tie. In the NHL, they go until they don't do a shootout in the Stanley Cup Finals of a 7th game, would they?
No, right.
They just keep playing until the guys fall down.
Right. Yeah.
Keep playing until they fall down.
Yeah.
The Falcons got hosed.
Well, the Falcons put themselves in that position.
Understood.
Right?
But
down
it's
25.
a coin flip decided their fate.
Yeah.
Well, you never know if they'd gotten the ball back.
Yeah, you said tell it 2 halves. What amazed me was, and this is what I felt about the Falcons, why I picked them, because they were fast and they were in Brady's face and they were doing all those things. I mean, in the first half, they were exactly what you would hope that they would be. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was the hour and a half that they waited until they got back.
It was an hour and 17 minutes between the time they touched the ball offensively, then there was all that Lady Gaga stuff, and then they got the ball again in the second half. It was an hour and 17 minutes in real time.
Yeah, right.
You can't warm up enough in the tunnel.
But I think that they shot their load in the first half, and then they were a step behind on every passing route. They were a step behind.
They were tight and they were tired.
Yeah.
It was the double T's.
Yeah.
And then it got worse and it got worse, and they could sense that the sky was caving in. And the Patriots, to them, it was a business trip. That's all it was. They find ways to win.
If you pick out anything from or learn anything from this particular game, you learn the fact that Tom Brady showed everybody, keep your composure. Don't get riled up. Just stay the course, and things will happen. And that goes for everybody playing at every level. Just keep a level head, stay the course, and things will happen.
Well, it certainly happened, and we had all kinds of records. And it was by far the most entertaining half of Super Bowl history.
It was really
Oh my God! And I guess unless you're a Falcon fan, and then you're drinking 57 Bud Lights instead of 10.
Hey, my wife even sat and watched it with me, so that's saying something, because then you know that it was entertaining. It really was.
And the ratings didn't reflect it.
No, I know.
The ratings did not increase as the game went on. The highest point of the broadcast was Gaga.
Yeah.
The highest point was when she was on stage. I guess 111 million is nothing to shake a stick at, but it didn't beat last year's, and it certainly didn't beat the year before, which is the record. But they didn't get the ratings because I think people hate the Patriots so much they just don't want to watch.
You mentioned the 1,500 responses you got for your Facebook message and the power of social media. We're going to talk about the power of social media, but how about Mark Wahlberg leaving the game early and the hammering he got on Twitter and Facebook?
Because he's a lifelong Patriot fan. I mean, he hangs out with Brady and Mr. Kraft. They actually did an episode where they played touch football at the stadium, and Kraft came out and was a referee. I mean, that family loves the Patriots, and that's a big, giant oops.
Yeah. So everything was caught, and now with social media, you can't get away with it.
No, you can't.
All right, let's go to the second quarter. All right, and that brings us to the second quarter and a bunch of never-befores.
You know what? A ton of things happened in this game that have never happened before, such as
Never before!
the game goes into overtime.
Never before!
A coach won his 5th Super Bowl.
Never before!
A quarterback tossed more than 480 yards.
Never before!
That same quarterback won the 5th Super Bowl.
Never before.
That same quarterback won his 4th MVP of the Super Bowl.
Never before.
Has a team come back from more than 10 points down to win a Super Bowl? And I'd like to thank the Mormon Tabernacle Choir for helping out with that silly little segment.
That is our staff here at HVNN Sports.
But there were also like 25 records set in this game and 7 or 8 tied things. Like, for instance, New England has now won the most Super Bowl appearances in the history, has been in the Super Bowl more than anybody else with 9. They have the record largest deficit when they scored 25 straight points. Brady now has 15 touchdown passes in his Super Bowl career. Since he was drafted in the 6th round way back in 2000, there have been 45 quarterbacks taken in the 1st round, and they've combined for 15 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Yesterday, Brady and Belichick's 25th postseason win as quarterback and head coach combo, that's 10 more than any other head coach and quarterback combo. Before the Patriots' improbable comeback yesterday, their defining moment was when the Falcons intercepted Brady in the 2nd quarter and ran it back for a touchdown to make it 21-0. At that point, teams were 12-0 in the Super Bowl when they returned that interception. Now they're 12-1. The Falcons led for 41 minutes, 18 seconds of game time. There's only one time in that game when the Patriots led, when they got the winning score in OT. Before yesterday, the largest comeback was 10 points, like we said. On top of that, the Patriots were down 19 points at the start of the 4th quarter. And throughout NFL playoff history, not just the Super Bowl, teams up by 19 and more heading into the 4th were 93-0, and now they're 93-1. So it's ridiculous how many things went by the wayside in this game. And you got to think that Brady is 39 now, right? Yeah, 39. So at 39, he says he's going to play till he's 45. I'm not ever doubting this guy on anything.
Yeah, me either. He looks like he's in good shape, except for when he was trying to run for the tackle on the pick six.
He lumbered. He lumbered, didn't he? I don't know how much heart he wanted to put into that and put his head into the guy. So, but the bottom line is, that may not be it. The Patriots always find a way to win. Yeah. So I think he may be adding to this and make it pretty much an unbreakable record.
Well, he's in great shape, and he's really committed with his training, throughout the offseason. So we'll see. This is definitely one for the record books, that's for sure. So that brings us to halftime. We're going to talk about Lady Gaga jumping into the stadium. She won't be jumping into our studio at our halftime. But when we come back, we'll recap commercials that worked, which ones didn't, and in our opinion, we'll figure that out. We'll also check back with our predictions and our prop bets from last week to see how we did. Who's buying dinner? We'll see by then.
Our valley is our community. It is our neighborhood, and it is our home. Our community is our bond, and HVNN is there every step of the way to share the events that happen within our community. Every accomplishment, every success, and even some bumps in the road. When you need professional local news, go to the source that is your go-to news source. We are the pioneers of digital media in the Hudson Valley. HVNN.com. Anywhere, anytime. It's your local news source. Online.
And welcome back to Inside the Game. CC and Zoles, Charlie Carnaccio, Rick Zolzer, and we are now into the 3rd quarter. Let's talk about Lady Gaga, who headlined the Pepsi halftime show.
Listen, I've made it pretty clear over the years, I'm not a fan of Lady Gaga because I don't like people that are weird just to be weird to get attention, like her meat dress and all the other stupid stuff she's done in her career. Because when you have a voice like that, you don't need to do stupid stuff like that. It's the people who don't have the voice, they have to detract from that by doing stupid things. So everybody had said that she was going to do something outlandish, she was going to make it somewhat political, because I've even stopped watching award shows because I don't want to see spoiled brat, out of touch from reality stars just piss and moan about how bad things are when it's tough to say that from your point in the world. So I destroyed her on Facebook. I mean, I really ripped her and had like 250 responses to that where I don't want to hear it. If she starts spouting, it's a great time to go to the bathroom. But I said I'm going to give her a chance.
Right.
I give her a chance, and she killed it. In all fairness, she absolutely killed it. Now, are those, because people dive into everything, you can never do something for just doing it, that said that her opening song with the 300 drones on top of this was a slap at Donald Trump's dad.
Who said that?
Multiple people. I guess the song was written by Arlo Guthrie, who lived in an apartment building that was owned by Donald Trump's father, and he was a bad landlord.
There's a stretch.
And Arlo wrote that song to make fun of Donald Trump's pop. So that was her way of making it political. You know what? She's a smart lady. Maybe she did, but she did it subtly, and that's the best way to do it. Right. Then the 300 drones behind her doing the American flag. Yeah. Does that mean there were 300 little dudes like this looking up in the air driving each individual drone? Yes. Or were there some drones that were manipulated by the same thing, or is that even possible?
As far as I know, you've got to man each drone.
Holy, I could just see the parking lot with 300 little dorky kids with their pocket protectors and their glasses looking up in the air trying to fly their drone in formation.
It takes skill to fly one of those things. I know because I crashed one of my first.
Oh, so you know?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so she then jumps off the stadium and lands on the field. But everybody who has an IQ over that of a kumquat knows that that was pre-recorded, and then they showed her coming down from the ceiling. And then the really weird part is the juxtaposition. Are you ready for this? The Simpsons. Apparently, The Simpsons did an episode 5 years ago of her doing a Super Bowl halftime show. I am not lying, being lowered down from the roof in an outfit almost similar to what she wore. For someone that I hoped to do poorly so I could make fun of her, I was disappointed that I only got to praise her, because the truth of the matter is, it's one of the best halftime shows ever. And that beats my boy Michael Jackson back in '93 when, remember, he was on top of the scoreboard, and then he got shot out of the floor. So that was a very, very entertaining halftime show. No two ways about it. It dwarfed what the Up With people did in the first couple of Super Bowls.
If I had one criticism, it's a small criticism. If I had one criticism, I didn't think that the mic drop was powerful. It wasn't a Chris Rock mic drop.
No, it wasn't.
It was just.
It was
she
subtle.
like a girl.
Yeah, it wasn't good. All right, so if we're going to make fun of her for that, fine. She needs to work on the mic drop.
All right, so that brings us to the fourth quarter, and we've talked about Tom Brady and how he did. We've talked about Lady Gaga and how she did. We talked about everybody, but we didn't talk about the sponsors yet. How did they?
You know what? I've been doing this for like 23 years now, because the Super Bowl, Monday after Super Bowl Sunday, I refuse to watch USA Track Meter, what they do, because I want to get my own opinion. I don't want to be swayed. Right. I sit there with two laptops. Actually, it's a laptop and an iPad, and one does the notes on the game and the social media on Facebook, and the other one I type for the commercial. I've never had so many zeros, and what I mean by is, why bother spending the $5 million to air it and the $2 million to promote it when it's A, either an old spot, or B, it's totally uncreative and it's not going to make people notice? Because when you have this audience of 111 million in a bad year, you want them to notice your product. I've never had 15 zeros. I may have 1 or 2 zeros every year. The 15 zero, I was blown away. The Oil American Petroleum, Life Water, Pistachios, Hulu, WaterTech, Febreze, they ran the same spot in 1 quarter.
Wait, you didn't like the WaterTech one?
Oh, I hated it.
That WaterTech one was produced incredibly. The production value of that one,
but you're a TV guy.
Well, I just thought that was really good.
Fiji Water, Spectrum Cable, Dunkin' Donuts, they failed miserably on all their spots this year. And Turkish Airlines. I actually turned to Mary and said, what? Are people flying to Turkey? Do you need to spend all that money to advertise, come to Turkey? It's a wonderful place to hang out in the summer. I didn't get that one at all. But the ones that were good were pretty good. But overall, it was the weakest year ever.
See, you're going to read your list. I don't agree with a lot of your list. Okay.
It's okay. This is America.
That is true.
It's the sports as I see it. You're the straight guy. You're the normal guy. You're the guy that wears a jacket, not me.
Go ahead.
All right. First, I like the fact that they brought back Spuds McKenzie. He was an absolute signature for years. Yeah, the ghost of Spuds McKenzie.
Commercial was too long.
Wasn't it like 90 seconds?
It was too long.
And so that means it was 15 million.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You know, think about it. It's $5 million a segment.
Yeah. You know, less is more in that case. They would have much more impact if Spud was there for a little bit and then gone.
There were multiple commercials were on the brink of number 10. I gave Spud the nod because Spud was once the man.
All right, go ahead.
The Skittles spot where
I don't even remember that one.
All right. Where the dorky kid is outside the house throwing Skittles up, trying to win, and all the people are on the couch catching the Skittles as they go by.
That was funny twice.
It was even a burglar, and then a cop was right after the burglar. Dude, I thought that was so well done. LeBron and Sprite.
Come on.
LeBron.
Why? Because it's LeBron?
Exactly. It's my segment.
There was nothing to that.
It was LeBron. Mercedes with Peter Fonda. Easy Ride.
Same thing. It was like, why? Because he's back from the 60s.
When I was a young kid, that movie, I believe it was like X-rated or something, and I snuck into the movies to watch it, and I've always remembered that movie.
So if they had the cast of Gilligan's Island on there, you loved it.
I'm giving it a 10. And I only normally go to a 5. So I gave that one a 4. Mr. Clean, creepy, but worthy of attention.
It was, okay. It was creepy, though.
It was absolutely creepy. Now we're getting into the 4s. I know you're going to hate this one, but Justin Bieber.
I thought it was okay.
You know, he's made fun of himself in a lot of
He wasn't
Super Bowl
beating anybody up. He had his shirt on, and he's got good dance moves.
The brother's pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
He really is.
So that was good.
There was Honda Chasing Dreams yearbook where all the young people were little snippets in their yearbook pictures, seeing them when they were young.
Steve Carell.
Oh, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Great. The NFL Super Babies got my first 5. Dude, Mike Ditka as a 2-year-old with a mustache.
That was the first one you saw. That was funny.
No, they all were. They had Lombardi with the hat and the trench coats walking away.
I don't know.
I thought they were all good.
Okay.
The Buick spot with Cam Newton playing against all the young kids.
Right.
And then he throws the pass, hits the kid in the chest. The kid goes back 25 yards, and it's a touchdown for the game winner.
And then, I like the chest bumps at the end. That was good.
And then, by far the best spot of the day, one that could go into the Super Bowl spot Hall of Fame, Melissa McCarthy and the Kia spot, where she's supporting all kinds of different things. You know, the whale falls on her, shoots her up in the air, she hits the ship,
That was a funny part.
and she slides down.
Yeah,
Dude,
her
the tree being put down and then going off the waterfall. It was awesome.
But that's Melissa McCarthy. She does that in every movie.
Guess what? It was the perfect spot for it. I even remember that it was Kia.
Here's what I'm interested in. In your whole list of all the 0s and the 5s and the 4s and all that, you didn't once mention the Verizon commercial. And the takeoff.
Faking your own death?
No, the takeoff on 50 Shades of Grey. The fact that you get penalized with all the charges that Verizon gives you. And
there's one where they fake their own death.
Shaw.
Yeah, and they fake their own death.
Kristen Shaw's from Flight of the Conchords.
Listen, I'm going to use an SAT word. It didn't resonate with me.
All right, so now we've talked about how Brady did. We talked about how Lady Gaga did, how the commercials did. We didn't yet talk about how we did in our predictions and our prop bet.
All right, let's go with the first one. Well, you want to go with the score first?
No.
All right, so in the score,
You're gonna love this one.
you had Falcons 34, Pats 31.
So here's the thing. It's 28-28. I'm saying, I got this. Patriots go down, hit a field goal. There's my 31. Falcons come back, score a touchdown. Don't need the extra point. There's my 34. Done. Didn't happen.
Didn't happen, did it?
No, because that stupid coin toss.
I had to, and remember, I've already said I think the Falcons got hosed. I think it's a bad rule that they, in a Super Bowl, they didn't get to control their own destiny. A coin flip decided their destiny. I had Pats 37, Falcons 29. That's pretty damn close right there, Charlie. Gonna get my McDonald's. Well, no, and we look at the prop bets. The over/under of the national anthem, you got that one right. I did not. The odds to win the Super Bowl, you had Ryan, I had Brady. The over/under on the heaviest player, you had the under, I had the over because the tight end for them scored the tight, and he was like 253 pounds.
No. If you go to the roster on their website, Austin Hooper is 248.
I went on the roster this morning. It said 253.
Well, he must have ate a lot afterwards because
On the roster today, it was 250.
All right.
I'll do it right now if you want.
we're debating that one. Go ahead.
All right. Because of the way the game finished, there was no Gatorade bath.
No.
And it's the first time in recent memory there was no Gatorade bath, which is pretty bizarre. And then we talked about who will have more LeBron James points against the Knicks or Matt Ryan completions. LeBron had 23 points. Matt Ryan had 17 completions.
I thought LeBron had 32. know what it says.
Maybe I'm dyslexic.
I know what it says there, but I thought he had, I think he had 32.
Well, either way, he wins.
Yeah, no.
And we both had bronze. And then the score, the total score of Tiger Woods and
Who?
And Tom Brady. And seriously, Tiger could have had his worst 4 rounds ever, but when Brady throws for 460 plus yards, there was no chance. But Tiger pulled out after the second round, so it's a push.
And that's what we said we thought might happen.
Yes, we thought it would end up in a push, but we couldn't bet the fact that we can't bet a push.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah,
So you
I
tally
win.
all that up, you win McDonald's. And
That a boy.
Now, the question is, which one do you want to go to? The one in LaGrange or the one in
Wappingers, please, because that was my very first job.
Was it really?
It was the one that was on the corner. Remember where it used to be?
Yeah.
Not the one that is currently, because that's where Jack in the Box used to be.
Right, yeah, right, Jack in the Box.
I'm talking about where the original McDonald's was.
All right, so maybe what we'll do is go there, see if they'll let you flip some fries.
I could still crush that.
All right. So that is the end of the fourth quarter. We're going to get to overtime. Before we do, we'll take one more quick 15-second timeout. You're watching Inside the Game with CC and Zoles. We'll be right back after this.
Our Valley is our community. When you need professional local news, go to the source that is your go-to news source, hvnn.com. Anywhere, anytime. It's your local news source. Online.
And welcome back to Inside the Game. We are now in overtime on our show, and the power of social media is what we're talking about.
You know what? It amazes how it controls our everyday life in all aspects. And there's 2 things that stood out from the Super Bowl that social media played a huge hand in. First, it was the 84 lumber commercial, which I despise with every fiber in my being.
And why?
Because it's a political ad, and I don't want to see it in the Super Bowl. I
agree with you.
I don't want to see it. And I don't want to be called a bad guy, but I don't necessarily agree with the theme of the spot anyway. But it's a story of a Mexican woman and her child making the long, arduous journey to come to America. And the rest of the spot was banned by Fox. Yeah. So they put the rest of the spot online where you could go see it, and the end of the commercial showed the website. Well, people went to the website to see, and they couldn't see it because the website crashed. Because, again, the power of 111 million people who are paying as close attention to the commercials as they are to the game, everybody's going to go see your stupid commercial. How do you not think of that? Yeah. So it crashed. People were pissed because they couldn't get on to see the thing. And I guess it's something with a truck and doors, and they're building doors instead of walls. And
it was a really nice wall, really nice doors. If you saw the end of it, and then the doors open and they walk in. But you know what? We're getting hammered every day on Facebook with all this political views and slants and rants and everything else that's going on. I don't need to have it during the Super Bowl. And there was so much of that. Inclusion and, everything else, and love me and love everybody. And, okay, we get it. Don't hammer us and spend $15 million to do it.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid. I didn't like it. And I will never buy a 2x4 at 84 lumber. I don't know if there's any around here.
There is.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Where?
In Hopewell.
There's an 84 lumber in Hopewell.
Pretty sure in Hopewell, yeah.
Well, sorry guys, your advertising agency prevented me from buying lumber from you. Not that I would ever buy lumber, but
meanwhile, Home Depot and Lowe's are like, we got the Zoles.
I'm available for spokesman duty now.
All right, good.
This is one of those weird things. I don't know who Jeannie Bouchard is, but I saw a picture of her and she's beautiful. She's a tennis champion, right? Yeah. Or is she a golfer? Do you know? We'll look it up.
All right, Patrick.
But
Patrick will get that for you.
But she is a famous female athlete, and she's attractive and happens to be married. But apparently she's a huge Atlanta Falcon fan. And during the game, she was talking smack on her Twitter account. And she was saying how it was all over in the second quarter like I did, and I was wrong about start the bus kind of stuff. Some dude said, well, if the Patriots come back and win, will you go on a date with me? And she fired back, and I could just imagine, and she fired back, sure. Well, then what happens? It goes from that ridiculous lead to the Patriots coming back, tying the game, and then winning the game. And she then said, her quote in her next tweet was, OMFG, because she knew what she got herself into. And then she goes, lesson learned, never bet against Tom Brady. They have actually spoken to each other, and they are actually going to go on a harmless little date.
Yeah, so Patrick's got the shot. So here's the shot of...
Oh, she's a tennis player.
Yeah, she's a tennis player. And that's a pretty good date for this guy.
Well, considering she's married, and the husband's probably going to go with him with a shotgun because you never know what you're going to meet on the internet. But it's the power. And then, of course, it became a huge story online, and ESPN and Fox both covered it. So she got covered during the Super Bowl on the stupid bet.
Nice.
So she's now even more famous than because I knew she was a female athlete. I knew she was attractive. I didn't know for what. Now I know she's a tennis player, and she's going on a date with some dude who was in his mother's basement on the couch on a futon, eating a bowl of Cheetos and a Fresca.
Mom, I'm talking to Jeannie Bouchard.
Yes, sure you are.
Stop.
I got a date with Jeannie Bouchard. So listen, the business of baseball, the business of sports is social media, and whoever takes that over for whatever length of time and trends wins. And both of these things, the lumber company and Jeannie Bouchard, both got attention. One was negative, one was positive. Or I guess the positive one could also be negative because she's got to go on the date with Clem.
Yeah, right.
It's the business of sports.
All right, well, that will wrap it up for us here on Inside the Game with CC and the Zolls. Charlie Carnaccio, Rick Zolzer. Hey, if you have some topics that you would like us to discuss here on the show, go to hvnn.com, our website, send us an email or a comment at the bottom of the screen right here and tell us what's on your mind. So that will do it. And for the Zolls and our entire staff here at HVNN Sports, I'm Charlie Carnaccio.